Hi all, and welcome to my old workshop. As you may have known, I have a brand new workshop just over there, and I have filmed several videos in there and posted it on my channel. Now, I have received several comments and messages saying that I should do a video tour of my workshop and by extension, my fan collection. So, as the title might suggest, this video will be covering that. But before we get to my new workshop, I'm going to show you around my newly renovated old workshop. If you remember my national ceiling fan video from last year, you should have noticed that I have moved my ceiling fan spot that used to be over here to here. This place here can accommodate 56-inch industrials or any ceiling fans in that matter, but to be honest, 36-inch looks awesome here. And yes, this is a 36-inch fan. I'll talk about this on a dedicated video on this fan. You also might have noticed that the ceiling fan control is no longer in this area and the power outlet has been replaced. That is because I have moved the switches over here, right next to the door. So once you enter this room, you are greeted by a set of light switches that control the lights for this room and the ceiling fan control. And under the ACs, there used to be a table here and some shelves, and now the table is gone, replaced by, well, a lot of junk. These here are my condenser fans. This is the national condenser fan that I bought last year, I think. I don't know why I got this, but impulse, I think. Yeah, this room here has now been converted into a warehouse of sorts. I no longer do my work here because the room is frankly too small. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff down here. This rack, however, still houses my fans. It still acts as a display of sorts. I have my exhaust fans and ventilating fans all over this rack here, and some ceiling fans too. I have my communist green CMC over here and my light green CMC and my SMC. These are coming soon. Next to it, I have two more racks which I have yet to sort things out. It's still a bit of a mess, and a lot of my fans are still in storage from my renovation. I have to move them somewhere. So that explains why the racks are empty. Now this fan here is a pretty new acquisition. I think I bought this last year. This fan is dead. The previous owner ran it on 220 volts while the fan was set on 110 volts. Yes, this is a dual voltage fan, similar to my the fan that I use as my profile picture. Only difference is this has a frequency cap on the front. This and that is from the Extreme Fan Enthusiast, the KDK and National 48-inch ceiling fans. This rack here is still very messy. This I got early this year, I think. It's a National F-EY 149-1. I only got the motor and 2-speed controls. The blades were missing on it, and that will be used on a project to replace a ceiling fan I'm currently using somewhere else. Sorry, which explains this part right here. These two are my project CMCs. Here you have the blades. I haven't actually shown this one on YouTube. This one I bought from a scrapyard for, I don't know, it was pretty cheap, but they thought it was dead, but it was actually still running, so hey, good deal. Around here I have my other ceiling fans that still need to be organized, and my decorative ceiling fans and this project motor. I don't know what to use it for, and the motor for my DEMC. This fan here, I honestly don't know what to do with it. I no longer have a use for it. I might do a remake of it. The bearings in here are shot. I sprayed it with water to clean it last year, and it ruined the bearings. So that needs to be replaced, and I don't know, I'll probably put this in storage. Around here, now I have to explain these two power outlets here. You might have noticed that they're on different heights. That's because there used to be a table around here, right when the renovation was over. I thought I wanted to use this fan this area, as a work area, but that ended up not happening. So I moved the table into my new workshop, and this place is now empty. I'll probably give this place a dedicated rack so I can store the fans that are on the floor right now. That will be coming soon. I honestly still am busy right now. This fan here is a CMC, I think, yeah. And that is my newly acquired Malaysian KDK, what is it? I can't remember. D15ZM. It's a pretty interesting fan. And yeah, that's it for my old workshop right here. Nothing really much has changed. This pot I can still use for filming 10-inch fan lighting fans because while I have this wall replaced here, I still have the wood paneling and the hole for mounting 10-inch fan lighting fans. And this fan here will be coming soon. It's got a pretty interesting story behind it. So with that out of the way, let's get into my new workshop. Before I take you on a tour of my new workshop, I'm going to show you my new outdoor working area. So I've always needed an outdoor working area because A, I don't want to dirty up the floor of my air-conditioned workshops, and B, sometimes the stuff I take apart are too big to take apart indoors. So this area around here used to be my outdoor working area. Now it's just a hallway for my new workshop. There used to be two ceiling fans, one here and one there. The exhaust fan is still there, but I've replaced it with a much smaller one, which I will explain why in its dedicated video. The ceiling fans used to be controlled by speed controls mounted around here with not much cable management. It looked ugly back then with a lot of massive wires running around. Now, while the outdoor area has been expanded, I still retain the two ceiling fan setup, but I've moved the controllers over here next to a light switch. These two controllers here control those fans. These are my most powerful custom ceiling fans, and I chose these two because I need as much cooling as possible out here because it tends to get rather hot, and these fans here do a pretty good job. Although I want to replace that fan over there with my Project National F-EY 139-1 because this fan here is a 42-inch fan, well that is a 50-inch. The size difference is bugging me a little bit, even though this fan here performs just fine. It moves a lot of air. And here is my air conditioning setup, my new air conditioning setup. This unit here belongs to my old workshop AC. It's my old, what is it? Maybe half-ton low watt Sharp AC. I've removed the logo here because it was faded, and I've returned it to looking like its stock form with its original grill and black fan blades. Although This blade here is not the original blade that came with this unit. This one came from a Sharp inverter AC. It is a much lighter fan blade with less structure, if I may say. Above it is this. This is the 90s Daikin AC that my grandparents gave to me for free. It was dead when they gave it to me, but I have since fixed it and it's now working again. And boy, does it cool my room down. And I actually did a little whoopsie with this setup right here, because the discharge air coming from the condenser fans blows straight to this area here, and well, this area is closed. The heat tends to collect around here and it gets very hot in here, which is why the exhaust fan is running, always running, to push cooler air from inside the house out here and refresh the air around here, because this thing here gets that hallway very hot. I still need to tidy up the refrigerant pipes with trunking. I have bought those, but I haven't installed them yet because I'm still busy with college work. And from the outside you can see the 12-inch exhaust fan spot for my old fan shop has been replaced with this much better looking setup here. And down here is the area where I usually do my washing up. Say I get a fan that needs a deep cleaning, I clean it here because I get easy access to water and a drain hole to prevent myself from making a mess around this area. It's also where my family do our laundry. With that said, let's get to this thing. This might look like a random install to you, and honestly it is. This fan here, well, this area here, I planned it to be a sort of paint booth, but seeing how good this area looks, and I really don't want to mess it up, so yeah, this fan doesn't get used at all, and my plan of making a paint booth here is, well, it is cancelled, and now this fan just sits here rusting because every time it rains the rainwater falls on it. I need to make a cover for it, maybe out of steel or something. And yes, it windmills all the time because it goes through the next door building over there. Over here, there are ventilation grates. Back there are condensing unit for ACs in the other parts of the house. I've removed the grill to make better air circulation. This here is a Toshiba and that is a Midea unit. Here are my utility fans. I haven't showed this fan actually in a while. This is my Sekai 18-inch oscillating high velocity fan. I've used this thing a lot in projects, renovations, etc. And well, it has seen better days. The grill is rusty, the motor is absolutely filthy, so is the blades, and well, parts on it are rusting, but still works fine. In front of it is my 4-blade utility fan, and this thing, it used to be my dual zone air cooler project. I have since cancelled that project, as you might have known, and I don't know what to use this thing for, honestly. So yeah, it's sitting here for now, collecting rust and dirt. Anyway, you can see the reflection from the ceiling fan there, quite nice. That there is the exhaust fan for my new workshop. I'll talk about it more later. Well, that fan there is my 16-inch Panasonic industrial exhaust fan. It is working as my attic fan, well, one of my attic fans. Yes, I do have an attic in my new workshop, which I will show you later. So from the outside here, you can see one big exhaust fan discharge side, and one over there, and one over here. This spot here accommodates 8-inch fan length fans. To be honest with you, this place looks a lot better at night, so here we are at night. Something about the combination of the lights, the wood paneling, the white painted steel beams there, and ceiling fans just looks so nice to me. Especially this fan here with the white paint and the gold center. Let's crank them both on high. See how they perform. The slides are swinging a bit. Now this fan here and that light there have caused me several problems. And the light there is hung with just the power wire coming from the roof, and if it is especially windy outside, the light tends to swing backwards and forwards, and it has hit the place of this fan once while it is running, and it was a bit of an ugly mess to say. And now I have reinforced the cables with solid copper wires, so they won't jiggle about as much. And now, welcome to my new workshop. To be honest with you guys, I felt this room took forever and a year to finish construction. It was that tiring, and well, I was very busy back then, running around town, sourcing materials and other stuff. But now that this room is finished, well, it is serving me quite well. This room here has two main zones, one here with the tile floors, and one up here with the wooden flooring. I like to work while sitting on the floor, which is why I have the tile portion here and half wooden. This is not actual wood, this is like vinyl stuff, I can't remember. The two zones are separated by this huge furniture thing. There's a ladder built in it, as you can see. This huge storage unit here houses some random stuff. There's a drawer filled with ceiling fan speed controls and plastic ceiling fan motor covers and bearings. This is coming soon. Down here are some stuff for working on my fans. This small drawer set here houses screws and other junk. This box, says it all. Some soldering iron, heat gun, my wattage meter, multimeter, and some other stuff. In here, I have my 20-inch KDK wall fan. I actually plan to use this fan in my workshop when I was designing it, but that first design got scrapped and now I cannot use this fan at all. So it's now just sitting there, waiting to be used. I have some lights for filming. The Crucible ceiling fan motors, I store them here temporarily. A box here which contains screws, and down here several new old stock National power outlet covers. I love these. Back here are some spare lights to replace ones that once they get burned out in my rooms. I have them back there, and some speed controls from my ceiling fans. This ball here will get its own dedicated video. And for now, I have a question for you guys. Which button do you think turns this fan on? Leave your answers in the comment section. It is quite weird. This corner here has my Lasco desk fan, and yep, I'm in the furry community. Anyway, I got this a voltage stabilizer which also acts as a step-down transformer, and ever since I got this, this fan here has been serving as my daily desk fan. I use this fan almost every day, and it is perfect, honestly. I love how quiet it is and how smooth the airflow is. It's a nice little fan. Up here there are lights, 3 wall-mounted lights to help light up my workbench here. I work on smaller stuff on this desk, and I also work on my laptop here. As you can see, this is my university project. I have to design a cafe. It's a pretty heavy job, but well, I'm still working on it. Anyway, around this corner I have a display rack. Up here I have 2 fans, one this Hitachi desk fan and my little Ares. Also some other stuff, some old cassettes, this National camera flash, these 2 old AC wall-mounted controls, a little swing kit. This was an old stock, and little miniature furniture and a small cat praying. Down here is my X Pro. I haven't figured out a place to permanently store this fan yet. And here are some toy cars I bought in Hong Kong. There are 2 taxis and the city bus. Down here is my gimbal and a Nokia phone and the manual. I haven't really finished this shelf yet. I still need to coat the wood with some sort of coating to prevent bugs from going in there and eating all the wood. Ignore that. Here is a random pedestal fan I decided to temporarily store in here. I don't actually use pedestal fan, especially this one. This fan here emits a smelly oil odor when it's running. It makes my whole room smell like used motor oil, and that is very nasty. So I don't use it, honestly. Down here, I also haven't figured out a place to permanently store this fan yet, but we'll get a home soon. Here is my ceiling fan speed control. This control came from my National 149-1 that I bought early this year. Next to it are some light switches. This one controls the lights over there. This one I can't remember right now. This one does the attic fan. Well, this one does the lights over there. And while we're on this topic, here's my AC. I have installed it, and you might have noticed that I have flipped the swing flap over, and that is because I want the airflow from this AC to reach all the way over here, and having the flaps the way they originally were, they would just come straight down and probably end up around this area here. That is why I flipped the flaps 180 degrees. And yeah, it works very nice. It cools the room very well. While it is pretty old, still does the job. This unit was rarely used when it was installed in the previous owner's room, so there's barely any rust on the evaporators, and there's barely any mileage, if you may say, on the parts. Still got a lot of time left in it. That there is the vent for my attic fan. I will explain it later when I show you the attic. And here is my 8-inch ventilating fan spot. Looks pretty nice with this corner setup with the AC, the attic fan, and the ventilating fan, and the shelf below it. Actually, this shelf here is temporary. I have designed a shelving unit specifically for this area, which I will show you later. It's on my laptop, still in SketchUp. With that said, let's get up here. Oh, and this staircase here also has LED lighting. Here you go. This area here has 4 wooden ceiling, and this unit here, this is my national from the 80s, I think. It is a fan split. It is not an air conditioner, just it used to be an air conditioner, but the evaporators got removed, and now it is just a wall fan. I plan to have this unit here installed right next to that unit on my original fan room plans, but as I said, that plans got scrapped, and now I installed them here so that I can have an AC on both zones of my new workshop. I have the control fastened over here to the wall. As you can see, it runs. So there's wires coming out from the back of the unit connected to circuit breakers, and that hooks up to this fan split over here. So there's no power outlets around it, as you can see. Shut it off. Oops. Next to it, I have this split controller. This controller here belongs to the 48-inch National that I got from the Extreme Fan Enthusiast. This switch controls that fan. Ignore that. There's an exhaust fan here. It currently doesn't work because the switch I put in it broke a few months ago. So now pulling this does nothing. I need to fix that. If you see here, I have my miniature industrial ceiling fan installed. Quite nice to have a dedicated place to mount this little fan here. And it is controlled by this switch right here. This switch goes to the attic to a phone charger, which connects to cables that lead to this fan here. So whenever I want to turn it on, just flip the switch and it spins. The only downside is the speed control I put for it is in the attic, so if I want to change the speed, I have to crawl up into the attic, and well, getting into the attic is not an easy thing to do, which I will explain later. Around here, I have some of my fans. This material here gets quite a bit of use. This area here I use as my resting place, so if I get tired on a project or on a college day, I like to lay down around here without a blanket or something and turn this fan on to circulate the air. This fan is, I bought this fan new in box, still works perfectly. It runs beautifully nice on low, whips out a nice gentle breeze. This fan I ended up not using. I planned to give this fan to my dad's store, but that ended up not happening. So it is just sitting here. This back here is a project of mine. This is my old Maspion 9-inch desk fan with, I put RC airplane propellers on it. Just wanted to see how a desk fan would perform with airplane propellers as a fan blade, and actually performs quite well. Moving from there, ignore that, and this is my Sharp air purifier. I don't actually use it, I just have it here because I don't know where to store it. The filter is making a bit of a weird smell. I need to replace it or maybe wash it. So yeah, it doesn't get used, just sits here. Around here I have a pedestal fan, my 18-inch Sekai. The oscillator on it broke when I was transporting it to where I was storing it for the renovation to this room, so it now cannot oscillate. I need to replace the gearbox, but the fan still works. So there's that. And down here are, I need to I need to get to filming this. I haven't filmed it at all. And the back of it are some fan blades for ceiling fans. That back there is for my DEMC. In front of it is the blade for this LSCare. Here is a fan which I bought in Hong Kong. This is an Immerflex. I think it is a 9-inch air circulator. It has 4 speeds, which is very nice. We don't get 4-speed fans around here at all. Ignore that and ignore this. Actually, and ignore that too. Up here, I have a 12-inch fan lighting fan. Now I have it unplugged because, well, the story with this fan is I bought it in Surabaya sometime this year when I was having a trip with Kensho Shan to Surabaya. I bought this in Ponton. It is practically almost brand new. The plastic is very shiny, the paint doesn't have any rust on it. But the motor, the motor broke itself, I think 2 days after I got it home. I ran it all night, but in the morning it decided to just stop running. So the shutters was open, but the fan wasn't spinning at all. The motor here is rated for 22 watts, but it drew only 18 watts when it was still working. So something was up there, but now it is dead. Well, it's not dead. The motor still draws 2.2 watts, and if you spin it by hand, it will spin. It will start running, but it is not the capacitor that is the problem. It's the motor. It's actually a nice brand. I like it a lot. This part here has a power outlet because I planned this area to be a spot for mounting a wall fan. I haven't actually got to mounting a wall fan yet because I don't know what wall fan I want to mount. So this place is empty for now. In this corner I have my sewing machine. And yes, one of my hobbies is sewing. This is one of my projects here. It's a blanket and a quote-unquote mattress. Ignore that. These are the blades for my Crispo ceiling fan. I still haven't figured out the place to permanently store this blade set as well. I still have a lot of homework around these parts. And here's my last screw from the backside. It's running on high. This thing likes to make clicking sounds, I don't know why. Oh, by the way, up there, you can see the ceiling is badly fitted. I need to work on it. But above the ceiling is another attic fan. So in total I have, what, I think, if you count that one, I have 1, 2, 3 and 4 attic fans. That fan up there is also controlled by this switch here, but I still need to fix the switch and the wiring to make it work. Also in the daytime it actually offers quite a nice view out here. with the ceiling fan running here, you can see also ceiling fan outside. It is, the window is tinted, but if you when it's daytime, you can see this fan running from inside this room, which is the sight of two ceiling fans running is pretty nice. With that said, let's get into the attic. So in order to access the attic, I have to climb this ladder here and squeeze into that spot right there. It's just big enough to fit me and maybe some stuff I'm carrying. I really need to get a taller ladder here. I'd honestly love to get those systems in America. You know, those attic access doors that just come down and then staircase extends down with it. But we don't have those here, so I'll have to manage with this. So with that, welcome to my attic. This is a room where I hate to be in because the roof is very low and I cannot properly stand up here, and I constantly break my back being in here because, well, this is where my eyes are. This is my eye level, and this is the highest part of the room here, and I'm not standing perfectly straight right now. My head is sort of tilted down. Anyway, this is a room where I keep a lot of my stuff. There are some fans that I haven't shown to you in a while, and there are some that I haven't even shown you at all. Let's start with this fan here. This fan here, and actually that fan back there are, I think these are maybe 70s or 80s Malaysian KDK ceiling fans. These two are made in Japan, and I'm pretty sure they were only available in Malaysia, but I could be wrong. This one has this chrome cap here. I removed it because the threads are busted. This is I believe this is a 60s KDK. Let me pull it out for you. It is absolutely heavy. Here we go. This, yeah, it's a Japanese made 110 volt KDK ceiling fan, model 140ZT. I don't have the blades for this motor here. I just when I bought it, it only came with the motor and the down rod. The blades were completely missing, so I have to fabricate new blades for it. This fan and that fan, however, had their original blades. Still have the original blades. Oh, it's absolutely heavy. The blades for this fan here is this one here. That's a blade for a CMC. Behind it is my NEMC. I still haven't got around to restoring it because, well, renovation. This here is the blade set for a grid ceiling fan. Yes, I have one. I haven't shown it on YouTube. This fan here, I think I first shown it in 2019 or 2020. I can't remember. Probably the no, I cannot remember. This is a Crispo retro pedestal fan. I've had this for years and I haven't got around to fixing it, or I haven't done anything with it. The switch is not original. Yeah, it just sits here. I don't know what to do with it. This fan is a bit of a hack job. I got this from a friend, I think. The neck broke a couple years ago, so I custom fitted a wooden neck on it, so I can so that I can still use it. This, by the way, is the only usable portable fan in my attic. So when I want to cool down, I use this here. And this AC. Yep, my attic has an AC in it. This I believe is a 3/4 ton Toshiba mini split AC unit. I installed this just because, well, from all that struggle getting into the attic, I need at least something to comfortize myself when I'm here. So I installed this AC because I have this thing sitting doing nothing. This unit, by the way, came from my grandparents' house. The compressor had a part of the refrigerant pipe had a big leak, and I've since fixed it and it works fine now. It gets the attic pretty cold because this is a small room and this AC is oversized. Here is the box from my WIFA ceiling fan. I have this fan installed in my new workshop, as you can see, several minutes ago. Here's the box for the blades, and under it is the box from my LS Care ceiling fan blades. Still can't get why they printed this. They obviously copied the design from Matsushita and they're bragging about it, so there's that. This is the box for my Boxer new inbox desk fan. There's a lot of boxes in a sentence. This I haven't shown you. This fan here is a Sanyo from the 80s, I think. It's a reversible industrial ventilating fan. And yep, this fan here is basically an older brother to that fan. It is reversible. The pull cord control is down here. It has 4 shutters, aluminum shutters, which are badly corroded. 4 steel plates, which are far narrower than the plates on my Panasonic exhaust fan, but the motor in this is pretty big. It gets up to speed pretty fast. I bought this fan sometime this year. I carried it home with my scooter. I think I posted it on my Instagram story. I can't remember. Behind it is this. This is my This is my old CKE 16-inch industrial exhaust fan. The motor in it broke, which is why I replaced it with this fan here, this Maspion 16-inch industrial exhaust fan. I haven't got around to fixing the motor. I'll have to do it eventually, but it's now just sitting here. The bearings are still very good, but yeah, the motor is dead. Behind it is a Maspion 12-inch desk fan. I bought this fan used. It was dead when I bought it. Well, the previous owner thought it was dead, but it was the bushing that is the problem. Either the bushing or the shaft, one of them is worn down, so the motor has side-to-side play in it, and well, it's not good for the motor. This, as I said in the outer part of this video, showing you the outer working area, is my Panasonic 16-inch industrial exhaust fan. I've mounted it in my attic so that it can work as an attic fan. This fan here refreshes the air very quickly in this room because, well, it is oversized. And you can see I have balanced the blades. I've grown tired of this fan rattling and vibrating to to destruction, so I balanced the blade myself, and now, as you can see, it is almost perfectly balanced, which is very nice. This, as I said, is my Maspion 16-inch industrial exhaust fan. I replaced this fan with a much smaller exhaust fan because of reasons which I will explain in the dedicated video of that smaller exhaust fan. It's not just sitting here. I don't know what to use it for. I'll probably end up selling it. I'm not sure yet. These are the blades for several black advanced ceiling fans. I think there are, yeah, there are 2 sets here. That will be explained in a future video. This locker thing houses power transformers. These 3 transformers here run my LED strip lights that I've mounted in my new workshop. They didn't have any fans, any form of fans when they originally came from the factory, but I added 8 cm fans to prolong the transformer's lives a bit. I also added a intake fan down here to pull in fresh air from down here and refresh the air inside this locker thing. And this duct here connects to outside, so the hot air that collects up here will get blown straight outside. As for this, we'll explain it shortly. But this first, get to this first. This is the phone charger and speed controller that runs my miniature industrial ceiling fan. It's pretty crude setup, but it works. As for this, it has a big fan in it. Not a big fan, but a pretty thick EBM Pabst fan. I think it is in EBM Pabst, but can't remember. This is a 48 volt. I think it is a 48 volt DC adapter. Has this cooling fan to go with it. I installed it myself, and also this blower thing to help on air intake. This transformer here runs that contraption there. These 2 wooden boxes are my attic fan system. This is basically a fresh air intake fan with a built-in filter in that box and 2 48 volt blowers, DC blowers that blow air down into the vent in my workshop. Basically how this system works is, behind this box here there are 2 pipes, which I will show you later. Let me open the box. Here we go. There are 2 5-inch pipes connected to the roof. Basically, they have flaps here to prevent backdraft. It has a filter here to prevent dust from coming through to my room. 4 ducts that lead to the intake side of the blower back here. The 2 blowers are positioned here and here. As you can see, the mounting screws here. I still need to tidy up the wires, but for now it works. Oh, this here is the speed controller for the attic fan blower. There's a cooling fan on because this speed controller here gets a bit warm during use, so it needs as much cooling as it can get. I've put some sound dampening here from an air conditioner to lower down the noise coming out from this blower a bit, because this attic fan gets very noisy. There are also sound insulation down there to quiet things down a bit. I don't know how effective they are. Anyway, up here is an EBM Pabst centrifugal blower. This has forward-facing impellers. I bought this in Ponton earlier this year, along with my National 12-inch ventilating fan to use here. This pipe here and this fan here will be used as a fresh air intake fan for my paint booth, which will sit about, close this box for a minute, which will be here. This area here I actually plan to be the intake spot for my attic fan, but judging by how far the duct needs to reach from here to there, I canceled that plan and moved the intake pipes over there, leaving this spot empty. Behind it is a big empty frame that used to be, there used to be an aluminum grate behind it, now there's an exhaust fan. This area is not yet finished. I still need to add a bit of a partition here and here to close off this area. I need a stronger exhaust fan for this place so that all the paint particles will get sucked out. And that fan there will be acting as a filtered air intake to refresh the air that is later going to be sucked up by the paint booth exhaust fan. I didn't just opted for opening a door or something, because then all the dust and everything that is there outside will get sucked in, and well, it will most likely land on the paint and ruin the paint finish. So this place is not yet finished, so I've painted several fans in this place, but I did it around here. Just sprayed it out, just open the door and sprayed it outside. And by the way, speaking of paints, I keep my paints and other stuff here. That is the paint can there, and some paint. I no longer use spray paint on my larger projects because I found out that these automotive paints are far cheaper to buy than regular spray paint. Just mixing it with regular paint thinner, and I actually get a lot more paint this way with far less money. I will explain this a bit later, but that is from my dad's Surabaya office. This fan died this fan died last year. I don't know why, but just stopped working, so I replaced it with another fan and brought this home to, I don't know what to use it for, honestly. But this fan used to be mounted over there. This is the exhaust fan port for my new workshop, the zone with the wooden floor and wooden ceiling. I've removed it because I need to work on the wires, and I need to fix a switch and also hook it up to this fan here. This fan will be serving as another intake fan, and well, not an intake fan but an exhaust fan for my room, which is why if you look closely on, well, I was explaining around my new workshop, the lights are not mounted properly. There's still a big cap on the fixture that is to allow air to get in around that light fixture to this fan here. I don't know what this fan came from. I'm assuming it was a refrigerant evaporator fan or a condenser fan. I cannot be certain, but this has blades that look like high velocity fan blades. It is pretty decently powerful, but the intake size that small doesn't really allow it to move that much air. And now I'm going to talk about the floor space here. As you can see, it is two-tone. Basically what happened here was I had some wood finish thing left over from my renovation and the shop building. I used it to coat the floor here so that I wouldn't have to walk on bare plywood, which actually sucks. I ran out of that coating, and because that coating cost about, I don't know, I think it was about 100,000 rupees a can. I didn't want to pay that much, so I used leftover white paint to paint over the parts that haven't been finished. Looks ugly, but hey, this is an attic. I don't care. Basically how this place was built is there are big steel beams above the ceiling of my new workshop. Above it sits the floor here, which are about, I think these are 2 centimeter thick plywood, and that acts as the floor for my attic. Now with that said, I'm going to show you the outside part of my attic and the outside view of that duct there. And this is how the intake side of my fresh air fan for my new workshop looks like. This is for the fresh air intake for the paint booth that I haven't finished, and those two are for my attic fan. Over the roof here, you can see the intake side, the intake ports. I previously planned on a bit of a mushroom cover, if you understand what I mean. But after some thinking, it came on me that the air would have to go up and then back down, which adds air resistance. So I ended up with those T's there, which have an added benefit in that because the air, the wind up here tends to blow in that direction. Any hot air that collects in these pipes are flushed out by the wind that travels through that T section. Oh, and also, this is where I get into my attic. It is quite a narrow spot, but I can manage it. During the design stage of my new workshop, I proposed on a much better way to access the attic, but that proposal got rejected, so this is my only way to access the attic. With that said, up there is the condensing unit for my attic AC. See, it looks pretty nice up there. I placed a small section of roof above it to prevent the unit from further rusting. It's pretty hot up there, so let's get back inside. Now that we're back inside, I'm going to show you a little bit of my PC fan collection. I've received some comments about people asking me if I can make a video on my muffin fans, computer fans. I'm not sure, I'll probably do it someday, but here's a glimpse of it. This here has a pretty interesting story. I bought this thing in a flea market for 5,000 rupees. Very cheap for a Corsair fan, which still works perfectly. It's a bit dirty, but works. This fan is dead. I bought it and tested it, but didn't work. This is a gift from my friend Jeff when I visited him in his hometown last year. Some spare remotes. I don't remember where this belongs to. Oh yeah, I have another Toshiba unit just like this one here, and that's the remote for it. The evaporator unit and the condensing unit are downstairs, somewhere else in the house. This is a refrigeration shaded pole motor, probably an evaporator motor. Some ceiling fan down rods here. Yeah, if you want to watch a video of my PC fan collection and probably see some of them run, comment below. And now I'm going to show you some designs I've made for my workshop during the design stages. And welcome back to my laptop. Before I get to show you my new shelving unit design, I want to show you the design of my room. I didn't draw this, my uncle did this drawing. Originally I wanted my room to be, there is the outer part here. Originally I wanted the other part to be enclosed, so my room would be double the width, so that wall there would have been indoors if my first design was what do you say, approved. Squirrel brain. Yeah, so my room would have been twice the width with I would have needed 2 mini split ACs to cool it down properly, but my uncle suggested this design, so, and my dad seems to be attracted to it more than my design, so well, I had to bend over my back and I finally accepted this design, which I think it's a pretty good decision. The full bedroom would be a bit too hard to manage myself. And with that, here's the shelving unit design that I've made for that corner right there. As you can see, this is a shelving unit that doubles as an air cleaner. There's the blower inside this housing here. So this here is the intake port. Behind it is a filter, and yes, this intake port doubles as a door. Behind it is a filter and the blower, which blows air through the back of the unit through a ductwork and up here through those vents there. Those slats there would be serving as a decorative element and also as drawers. Here they come out as drawers. And now for the SketchUp drawing. Let me zoom out a bit. Here we go. This is an almost exact drawing of my workshop, my new workshop, and I've designed this shelving unit to basically be as tall as possible so that the airflow coming out of this vent will be thrown out to the zone with the full wooden floor and ceiling. So the cold air that sits around the lower zone of my shop would get sucked in and recirculated with the help of this air cleaner here. Down here, as you can see, is the intake side. It's a handle for opening the door. I'm not sure if I'm going to make these slats into drawers because that will be a pretty hefty task. So I've repurposed one of the slats as the place to mount the speed controller. I call it the clean air system. Up here would be a place to display maybe a desk fan, or it will most likely be a place to display a desk fan. There will be a power outlet back here, so I could run the fan and circulate the air into all around my room. By the way, I call this unit the roommates. Yes, I removed one amp because having two amps here sounds a little bit weird. It looks a bit weird, to be honest, even though this is not the correct way of spelling roommates, but I think it looks better this way. Zoom out. This thing here is the brand for it. I will explain that brand in a future video. Let's have a quick render. Yeah, so the lower two shelves here will have LED strip lightings on the top sides, so that anything that are displayed around here will be lit up, while this part here will be lit up by the lamp up here. It won't be the brightest, but it still is something. I cannot exactly put LED strip lights up here without making it look weird. Anyway, this here is the air outlet port. I'll probably make these vents adjustable in the end product, so I could direct the air up or down by adjusting these vents. And yeah, this here is I would say one of my biggest wish list for my new workshop that I haven't been able to make come true. How do you say it? Yeah, basically I haven't been able to make it because it takes time and a lot of money to build something like this, but I'll probably do it sometime in the future, and I don't know, it might make a pretty interesting build video. And now you've reached the end of my first hour-long video. I honestly didn't expect this video to take this much time. I guess I get carried away sometimes when I tell my stories. Anyway, to be honest with you guys, words cannot express how much I appreciate you guys for watching my videos, for supporting my channel, for leaving comments, and how much I appreciate the people who support in constructing this workshop here. This is an absolute blast, to be honest. And the fans that I show you in this video that I haven't posted on YouTube, those will be coming soon, so stay tuned for them. And there will be a lot more videos of my fans coming filmed in this room, so stay tuned for them as well. For now, thank you for watching and take care.